What is going on, guys? Vortex Gaming here, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Rise of TNA. Today for you we have the TNA Lockdown pay-per-view. It's a weird one because it's only taken me a couple of days to book this show, and I've actually struggled to fit everything in. Normally it takes me a week, and I'm actually struggling to find things to put in. So it's been a bit of a weird one, this pay-per-view. Hopefully it's going to be good. We are in the Civic Center, Mobile Civic Center Arena in Alabama. I want to say Alabama. I don't know if that is Alabama. AL in the southeast. It's got to be Alabama, surely. It is Alabama. Okay, so we're going to be in front of around 9,000 people, which is good. So let's get into it. Right then, so we have 5 pre-show matches as per usual to start with. No, we don't. We have 6. Do we have 5 or 6? Can't remember. We've got some pre-show matches. So in the first one, Mike Bennett defeats Shelton Benjamin in a 63C. That's not a bad one, seeing as though Mike Bennett's only an opener. Matt Hardy defeats King Mo in 65C. Interesting. In a 75B-, Velvet Sky defeats Caitlin and Angelina Love. 75B-. What? That's okay. That's more like it. 33E+, Madison Rayne defeats Rebby Sky with a raindrop. Yeah, Rebby Sky is awful. So, I don't know why I'm using her as an in-ring competitor. 60C, Manic defeats Crimson with a suicide solution. And 75B-, Bad Influence defeat Spud and Kenny King. This should get a penalty for an odd face-heel divide. Yeah, because Spud, despite being part of the BDC, is still a babyface, and it's too soon to turn him. So, may work on an angle with that. But anyway, on to the main show. So 64C, the show opens with an impressive showing of Pyro, and the cameras pan across the excited crowd before turning to the announce desk, where we find Jim Ross, Mike Tenay and Taz, who introduce the show and hype the upcoming matches. JR says, "Hello everyone and welcome to TNA Lockdown. Tonight you'll see some amazing matches, including a Knockouts title match between Gail Kim and Tara. Jay Lethal will challenge Ricochet for the TV title, and in tonight's main event, Kurt Angle will defend his TNA World Heavyweight Championship against the BDC's MVP." Tenay says, "Some amazing matches there, JR, and let's not forget tonight's mystery match for Bram. He doesn't know what the stipulation is or even who his opponent will be." Then Taz says, and of course because tonight is TNA Lockdown, every match will be competed inside the 6 sides of steel. So Mike Tenay has switched to a legend gimmick, and it's got an 8.4 rating. He was getting stale in the previous show. Moving on. 60C. So the cameras head backstage, where we find Bobby Roode pacing back and forth backstage until he spots the camera. Roode says, "Sabin, Shelley, I wasn't in the best of moods this week, and then you two jackasses decided to come back and screw me over. Now I'm really pissed off. Tonight it's Lockdown, and there's a match that isn't booked yet. Lethal Lockdown. Find yourselves a couple of partners, boys, because I'm ready to fight." So yeah, Lethal Lockdown. 4 versus 4 in a steel cage, loads of weapons, mayhem. Hopefully it's going to be a good match. Got some good guys booked in that match. So 61C, the return of Bully Ray. I think most of you will have worked out that Bully Ray was going to be the man. So Bram makes his way down to the ring, holding a turnbuckle in one hand and a mic in the other. He says, "Right then, I'm ready. Get the cage down. Let's do this." Bram throws away the mic and readies the turnbuckle in his hand when Bully Ray's music hits. Bully makes his way to the top of the ramp and tells everyone the stipulation. He says, whoa, hold it right there. Do you know who I am? I'm Bully frickin' Ray. We ain't about to do no cage match. I'ma put you through a table. Bully then makes his way down to the ring as the crowd chant, get the tables. So Bully's debuted his hardcore icon gimmick. It's got 76 rating, which isn't brilliant. But, yeah, only the one penalty for Bully Ray. Penalised for low momentum, which is fair enough, considering this is his re-debut. Bram penalised for chemistry motivation. I don't know. The match... well, that's not great. 54C minus. In a match that had some good action and average heat, Bully Ray defeated Bram in 16 minutes when Bram was put through a table. No work improvements. Match style not meeting crowd's expectations. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't tell me that's going to be a recurring theme. Apparently hardcore matches don't suit Bram's strengths. Okay. If the game says so. Bully Ray. What? So apparently, Bully Ray is not suited to a table match. Okay then. 72B minus. Bully Ray grabs a mic and plays with the crowd a little before getting down to business. He says, so last year I left TNA and I still feel I made the right decision because it allowed me to watch as one of you, as a fan. But things have really heated up over the past couple of months and I just had to get involved. Now you all know me, there's only one thing I want and that's the TNA World Championship. MVP, Angle, I want the winner and I'm going to get the winner and I'm going to win the title because I'm Bully frickin' Ray. Bully throws him out to the side and plays to the fans again before leaving Bram in the middle of the ring. So it's a disappointing start really. Bully Ray not suited to a fucking tables match. What has the world come to? 62C. James Storm is shown in a darkened room backstage, flanked by Manic and Loki, who's caressing his X Division championship. Storm begins to talk about how joining the Revolution is Samoa Joe's destiny. He says, Samoa Joe, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, but this is where you belong, the Revolution. Look at Manic. Look at how I helped him. When I found him, he was nothing, and now he's a lethal machine. Look at Loki. He was nothing but your little sidekick, and now he's the X Division champion. It all makes sense, Joe. Lift your index finger up in the air and join the Revolution. Loki improvised well throughout the segment. Interesting. Dirt sheet. Loki was penalised for low morale, so fair enough. Next up, 55C minus. Eddie Edwards makes his way down to the ring and grabs a microphone. He says, Drew Galloway, I know you're here. I know you're somewhere in the back, hiding like the coward you are. Didn't like it when I attacked you this past week, huh? Not so funny when the shoe's on the other foot, is it, Drew? You want payback, Galloway? Come and get it. That is, of course, if you're not scared. Drew Galloway runs down the ramp before pausing at the entrance to the cage. He hits the steel a couple of times before entering the ring. So there we go. And the match itself, 71C+, which is only just a C+, almost a B-. So that's not bad. In a bout that featured great action and average heat, Drew Galloway defeated Eddie Edwards in a steel cage match when Drew Galloway escaped the cage. Any worker improvements? No. Moving on, 58C-. Galloway turns back halfway up the ramp and heads back towards the ring. Eddie Edwards is crawling out of the cage door when Galloway grabs his head and yells at him, who's the coward now? Galloway then slams the cage door shut on Edwards' head and begins laughing. Edwards falls out the ring and Galloway then picks him up and future shocks him onto the steel steps. Galloway then leaves laughing as officials check on Eddie Edwards. So yeah, Galloway, well, he's just done what he's always done and has almost killed Eddie Edwards. 70C+. Bobby Roode is looking backstage when he comes across Adam Cole and Maria Kanellis. Roode says, Adam, hey man, look, I know me and you have never really spoken before, but I respect you. I think you're a top-class wrestler and a good guy, and I want you to be on my team tonight in Lethal Lockdown. Cole smiles and shakes Roode's hand. He says, I'd be honoured to team with you, Bobby. See you out there. And Cole and Maria walk off as Roode continues to look for another partner. So there we go. There's Bobby Roode's first partner, Adam Cole. Pretty good selection, if you ask me. Moving on to a 53C-. That's not brilliant. Ricochet's music hits and the TNA television champion makes his way down to the ring with his advocate Truth Martini, who's holding the Book of Truth in the air the whole way to the ring. Martini then grabs a mic as Ricochet taunts his fans with the title. Martini says, "Welcome to Lockdown and your main event of the evening, because let's be truthful here. Ricochet is the only shining star here in TNA. You people can come to these shows wearing your Jeff Hardy sleeves and your Jay Lethal shirts, but let's be honest, you only come to these shows to watch Ricochet. You only wear that merch because they're the stupid brain-dead idiots who think that your appreciation matters. This isn't a popularity contest, this is professional wrestling, and this is your television champion, Ricochet." Bit of an ironic statement considering that professional wrestling is a popularity contest. Really. Not the best rating though. It's a shame. And not the best match rating either. So, in a match that had some good action and average heat, Ricochet defeats Jay Lethal in 14 minutes by pinfall with a chocolate rain. Ricochet makes defense number 4 of his TNA television title. The fans... Oh, actually, that didn't get a penalty for the match type. So, maybe the fans just don't like table matches, which is strange. Got a lot of bonuses. Ricochet was penalised for not engaging the crowd. Was penalised for title prestige, which is fair enough because it's a new title. Moving on. I can perform better if you use... Okay, so they weren't happy. I probably should have put them in a high spot match, to be fair. I mean, it's Ricochet, so 54C minus. Martini is quick to grab a mic following Ricochet's win over Jay Lethal. Martini says, "Well, that is how you win a match. How many spins was that splash, Ricochet? 3? 4? Ricochet is the best athlete on this roster. That means that no one can beat him, especially not someone like Jay Lethal. Now please put your hands together for your current TV champion and your future World Heavyweight Champion, Ricochet." So there we go. Bit cocky, but there you go. So Johnny Gargano is stood backstage talking to some crew when Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin appear either side of him, shooing the crew off. Sabin says, "Hey Johnny, how are you?" You know what? Don't answer that. Answer this. How would you like to team with us tonight in Lethal Lockdown? Because, you know, Rude's already got one partner. We'd kind of like to stay ahead of him, you know? Gargano takes a moment to think about it and looks as though he's about to decline the offer when Shelley cuts in. Shelley says, "Think about this carefully, Johnny. I mean, we're not exactly the kind of people that let people like you team with us every week. This is a one-off opportunity. Just picture it. Johnny Gargano helps the Machine Guns defeat Bobby Roode and Adam Cole in Lethal Lockdown. This could make you, Johnny. This could make you big time." After another moment of thought, Gargano comes to a conclusion. He says, "You know what, guys? You're right. Let's destroy Roode." So there we go. It's at the moment, it's the Machine Guns and Gargano versus Roode and Adam Cole. Interesting. 66C+, the camera turns to the announce desk where JR hypes the upcoming match between Mr. Anderson and Matt Morgan versus Magnus and Sonata. JR says, "Coming up next, a tag team match inside the 6 Sides of Steel. It's Magnus and Sonata versus Mr. Anderson and Matt Morgan. Things have been intensifying in recent weeks between Anderson and Magnus, with Magnus luring Anderson into a trap this past week on Impact. Morgan also wants revenge on Sonata following Sonata's attack on Morgan on Friday's Explosion. Tag team action next." Now, I'll be honest, the Morgan-Sonata situation never happened. It's just a way of writing it's just a way of getting them into the match to make the match make sense, basically. So 66C+. The match... Oh, maybe not the match. Awkward. So 68C+. Eve Torres is walking backstage when she is approached from behind by James Storm making her jump. Storm says, "Well, if it isn't Eve Torres. You know, it really isn't safe. Pretty little woman like yourself walking around on her own." Eve says, "Is that a threat, Storm?" And Storm then replies with, "Look, all I'm saying is if Desmond Wolfe gets involved in tonight's match in any way, you might regret it. You have a family, right? Husband, son. I'd hate for little Raven to grow up watching his mum eat through a straw. You better have a long, good think about what you want in your future. Oh, and Eve, I didn't mean for you to get brought up into all of this. I'm sorry about your damn luck. So there we are. So James Storm threatening Eve's family. That's nice, isn't it? Nice family man, James Storm. So the match, 59C. In a match that had some good action and average heat. Magnus and Sanada defeat Anderson and Morgan in 13 minutes. Sanada was eliminated first, and then Mr. Anderson, and finally Matt Morgan. I think when it says... I was going to say when it says eliminated, it must mean escape the cage. But that doesn't really make sense. So, I don't know what happened there. But anyway... Matt Morgan's gimmick didn't go brilliantly. Magnus and Sanada don't work well as a team, fair enough, but Mr. Anderson and Matt Morgan, excellent chemistry. Huh. So, next up, Eve walks into Desmond Wolf's office, who seems to be getting ready to go to the ring. Wolf explains to Eve that he wants to go and watch the match from the announce table and make sure that there are no funny goings-on by the Revolution. Eve says, "Are you sure that's what's best for the show? I mean... surely if you believe in Samoa Joe so much, you'd stay back here and let him defeat the Revolution without getting involved. Isn't that what's best for business? Letting the guys sort it out themselves?" Wolf gives what Eve said some consideration before sitting down. He says, "I guess you're right. Joe and EY can handle it themselves. It looks like Storm's threat has paid off. Does James Storm now have a hold over Eve?" Obviously yes, because that just happened. So... anyway, Desmond Wolf will not be out there, so what's going to happen? Anyway, the Young Bucks are stood backstage, jokingly threatening to superkick each other when Bobby Roode enters the shop. Roode says, "Nick, Matt, I'm going to keep this brief. I need 2 more guys for the Lethal Lockdown match tonight, and I want you. It'd be an honour to team with the hottest thing in professional wrestling." Nick and Matt look at each other before agreeing to join Roode in the Lethal Lockdown match. That's Roode's team settled. Who will the Motor City Machine Guns choose as their final partner? So there, who's gonna be the final man in the match? Oh fucking hell, Jesus! Right. Oh God, this is good. I was gonna have this as my kind of second main event. Jesus. So in a match that had some good action and average heat, the Revolution defeated Samoa Joe and Eric Young in 17 minutes when James Storm escaped the cage. Oh God, that's not great. What was wrong with that then? Match style didn't meet the crowd's expectations. Penalised for length. In a good way? In a bad way? Well, obviously not in a good way. I mean, was it too long? Was it too short? I'd like for it to tell us that. I think that'd be a good addition for TW 2016. Was the match too short or was the match too long? I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, that was a high spot based match. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So James Storm has done it. Storm has escaped the cage and wins the match, meaning Samoa Joe and Eric Young must join the Revolution. Storm and Low-Ki re-enter the ring with Manic following. Storm lifts Joe to his feet as Low-Ki also helps Young up. Storm, Low-Ki and Manic stand in a line and lift their hands as Joe and Young watch in annoyance. Storm then lifts his eyebrow when he sees Joe and Young not doing the same, which forces them to taunt with the Revolution. So yeah, they are now unwilling members of the Revolution. We'll see how that transpires. 65C. Shelley and Sabin are walking backstage and Shelley isn't sure about asking someone to join their team. Sabin convinces Shelley that they'll jump at the opportunity, and when they round the corner, the BDC are stood there with King and Tyrus offering encouragement to MVP ahead of his world title match against Kurt Angle. They quickly stop and square up to Sabin and Shelley when they make themselves noticed. Sabin says, "Relax, guys, relax. Look, we have a proposition for you, okay? Now just back up and we'll talk about it. We good? Great. Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but we're facing Bobby Roode in Lethal Lockdown tonight. Now, we all know that you and him, well, let's just say that you're not exactly best of friends. Am I right? So here goes. We want one of you guys to join us, end Roode once and for all. He's been a plague on this company for far too long. You in?" The BDC huddle up, and after a moment's discussion, Tyrus steps forward And MVP says, a chance to get rid of Bobby Roode? Hell, we're in. So there we go. Tyrus is the final man in the match. Hopefully the match delivers. Backstage segment now. Magnus is sat in the locker room recovering from his grueling match against Anderson and Morgan when he's jumped by Mr. Anderson. Anderson proceeds to smash Magnus's head into different lockers before hitting a mic check onto the hard floor. Anderson says, you thought this was over, huh? Believe me, Magnus, this is far from over. See you next week, buddy. Anderson pats Magnus on the shoulder before leaving, allowing officials to check on him. So yes, things are not over between Magnus and Mr. Anderson. 62C. Next up, Lethal Lockdown. That's not brilliant. This is going to be the most average pay-per-view ever. Right, so in a bout that featured great action and average heat, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Johnny Gargano, and Tyrus defeat Bobby Roode, Adam Cole, and the Young Bucks in Lethal Lockdown in 16 minutes when Chris Sabin defeats Matt Jackson by pinfall with a Future Shock. Really? Chris Sabin uses the Future Shock as well? Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Bobby Roode all improve in performance and Rumble, which is good. That's good. What was wrong with the match then? Oh, Jesus, that's a lot. That's a lot. Penalised for length. 63C. Team Machine Guns have beaten Team Roode and are quick to begin beating down on the losing team, with Roode being the main focus of the attack. Tyrus pins Roode in the corner and begins to throw some stiff punches to the still taped ribs of the It Factor. Adam Cole tries to help Roode, jumping on the back of Tyrus, however he's thrown off and then Tyrus splashes Cole. The Machine Guns place a steel chair over Bobby Roode, who's now slouched in the corner, and point at Tyrus. A sick smile grows on Tyrus' face, who heads to the opposite turnbuckle. Sabin and Shelley then grab an arm each of Tyrus and slingshot him towards Roode, who running but cannonball sentons Roode, seemingly crushing the beaten man, with a steel chair on as well. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Oh God. Just thinking about it gives me shivers, man. The Machine Guns, Gargano, and Tyrus then taunt to the crowd. So Bobby Roode is now essentially dead. So I don't know what's going to happen now, but Bobby Roode is pretty much dead. The 64C, the cameras head backstage where we find a cameraman rushing around backstage. The shot then steadies to reveal Jay Briscoe kneeled over Mark Briscoe, cut open with Jay shouting for help. A doctor then pushes past the cameraman and begins to examine Mark's injuries. Will we get a tag team championship match tonight? Who knows? 64C. Tara makes her way down to the ring for the Knockouts title match holding a cardboard box. She teases opening it a couple of times before placing it on the announce desk. And when Taz goes to sneak a peek, Tara slaps his hand and wags her finger before entering the 6 sides of steel. So, what's in the box? That's the question. What is in the box? 9,952 people here. There was only predicted to be 9,100. So, we got an extra 800 people, which is good. That's a good thing. 53 C... Right. This... So, in a match that had some good action and average heat, Gail Kim defeated Tara in a 6 sides of steel match in 11 minutes by pinfall with a Widow's Peak. Gail Kim makes defense number 1. Wait, what? Ah, shit. Right, this was supposed to end the other way around. Tara was supposed to win this match. I could have sworn down I changed it. Because originally, Gail Kim was supposed to win, and then I changed it so that Tara was supposed to win. I'm sure I changed it. Oh, God damn it. Right, so there was loads of things wrong. It was too long. There was not enough selling. The title's not prestigious enough. Gail Kim didn't play the crowd well. Right, not brilliant. Moving on. 67C+. So Tara has won the Knockouts title after throwing Gail Kim from the top of the cage before pinning her for the win. Tara lifts the title in the air before grabbing the cardboard box that she'd brought down to the ringside before the match. She takes the lid off and begins laughing before putting the box lid down on Gail. On Gail. Tara removes the box to reveal a tarantula sat on Gail's chest. and then Tara licks the side of Gail's face and leaves the ring. Title hoisted in the air as she walks up the ramp. So she's essentially left Gail in the ring with a spider on her chest. Nice. 67C plus. You know, fair enough. This is going to be a bang average pay-per-view. This is going to be awful. So we head backstage yet again to find James Storm stood with Samoa Joe, who doesn't look happy. Storm welcomes Joe to the Revolution, promising big things. He says, well, Joe. Finally you've pledged to the Revolution. It wasn't that hard, right? And the rewards of doing so? Astronomical. We can finally achieve what we need to achieve, Joe. We can cleanse this company when we make you TNA World Heavyweight Champion. We can fix the awful tag team division when Manic and EY win the tag team championships. Picture it, Joe. Total domination, and you can make it happen. Welcome to the Revolution. So is James Storm winning Samoa Joe over? I mean, he's just promised to make him world champion. So yeah. 67C plus. Red Dragon make their way down to the ring looking extremely confident following the attack on Mark Briscoe backstage. However, that all changes when the Briscoes music hits and the TNA Tag Team Champions make their way down to the ring. Mark still covered in blood with his shoulder and ribs taped up. JR says, now that is what you call a fighting champion. Mark Briscoe viciously attacked backstage earlier on, but he hasn't let that stop him coming out here to defend his titles with his brother Jay. Taz says, oh boy, you ain't wrong, JR. But you do have to question if this is a smart decision from the Briscoes. Mark's injuries may very well cost them the tag team titles. The match then? 79B. Oh boy. So, in a bout that featured great action and average heat, the Red Dragon defeated the Briscoes in 1914 when Bobby Fish escaped the cage. Red Dragon win the TNA World Tag Team titles. So Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe, excellent chemistry. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, excellent chemistry. Mike Tenay and Taz, pretty good chemistry. There's your reason the match was so good. Being done to a cold crowd, title prestige, and then a couple of inconsistencies. 68C. Red Dragon have won the TNA Tag Team Championships and celebrate at the top of the ramp as Jay Briscoe checks on his brother. JR says, well Taz, you called it. Mark Briscoe's injuries meaning he couldn't climb the cage, which has in end gifted Red Dragon the victory and the titles. It's going to be interesting to see what type of champions Red Dragon will be going forward. So yeah, will they be fighting champions or will they be chicken heels? 64C. The cameras head backstage and show Bobby Roode being wheeled backstage on a stretcher following the post-match attack by the Motor City Machine Guns, Gargano and Tyrus. Adam Cole is walking along with Roode, who is lifted into an ambulance which rushes Roode off to hospital. So Bobby Roode, like I said earlier, pretty much dead. 76B minus. A video package plays showing the history between the champion Kurt Angle and the challenger MVP. The video names this match as the big one, with both competitors confirming that neither man will get another shot at the title whilst the other is champion. So if Kurt Angle wins, MVP won't get a title shot as long as Kurt Angle's champion, vice versa. So, and JR says, this is going to be something, guys. The winner of this match will be crowned TNA World Heavyweight Champion. The loser will not be allowed to challenge for the title as long as the other one is champion. Neither Kurt Angle or MVP will want to lose this one. I mean, who would want to lose a world title match? 81B. Well, the last two matches have completely saved this show. So in a bout that featured great action and great heat from the audience, MVP defeated Kurt Angle by pinfall in 25 minutes with a malicious intent. MVP wins the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. MVP improves in performance skills. A couple of bonuses. Declining ability being done to a cold crowd. So if the crowd was warm, could have been a bit better. Although the crowd's just, it's just had another good match. So I don't know why the crowd's so cold. But anyway, finishing the show, MVP is quick up the ramp following his win over Kurt Angle. The referee hands MVP his title, who hoists it in the air, and MVP is quickly surrounded by Kenny King, Tyrus, and Spud. With Kurt Angle now out of the title picture for as long as MVP is champion and Bobby Roode indefinitely out of action, who is left to challenge MVP as world champion? It's a good question. That is a very good question. Who's left? Who do we have? I mean, Lashley, potentially. I do have an idea. Bully Ray, of course, has come back. I do have another idea, though, which is the way that I may go. It's going to be interesting, so stay tuned. The show rating, though, 77B, increases our popularity in 31 regions. The two main events there, Red Dragon and the Briscoes, and MVP vs Kurt Angle, saving our asses. Because otherwise, that was the most bang average pay-per-view you have ever seen. That was a terrible pay-per-view apart from those two matches. So the 81 and the 79. God, Jesus. Right, make a little speech. We're going to congratulate MVP and Kurt Angle. Praise for a great performance. Kurt Angle also praised for a great performance. And who else? Who else? In fact, no, that's going to be it. Make speech. MVP happy, Kurt Angle pleased. Very interesting. Right, so what was the buy rate? Ooh, going to be interesting. Go away, Tigre Uno. Go away, Tigre Uno. I may bring you up to compete in the X Division now. 1.44. Oh, that's not brilliant. That's not brilliant. Impact Wrestling got 1.09 on MTV and got 0.65 on Challenge, which is up from last week as well. So that's all right, but the buy rate's not brilliant. Let's see how that compares to the Against All Odds buy rate. So Lockdown's buy rate was 1.44. Against All Odds was it's up from Against All Odds. Okay. Genesis was 1.10. Okay, so we're going up. This is good. It's good. It's good. The buy rate's improving. This is good. 2014, Final Resolution was 1.07. Okay, so we're improving. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, happy Vortec. Happy Vortec. So that is going to be it for today's episode, guys. Obviously, if you like the video, then please leave a like and let us know what you think of the of TNA Lockdown in the comment section down below. And also for all the latest news on my TNA saves, because I do have a 2002 save which I do need to go back to because I used to really enjoy booking that. But yeah, to keep up to date, follow me on Twitter, link in the description below, and yeah, hit us up on there. See find out what's happening. That is going to be it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next episode. Peace.